Let's say hello to our guests here. Hello, friends. How are you? Please, don't be shy. Oh, let's hug. How are you, Destiny?
It's warm in here.
How are you? We like it warm in here. Please have a seat. Have a seat. It's not the Mighty Cast, but it will do. Please, right over here, DJ. And what a great honor this is. We've got Mr. and Mrs. Mouse here.
I did. Well, you asked me to, and
I said bring her because today was like your day off, right?
Yes. Today's a day off. We're gonna go hang out, jump in the pool, and then you text me, and I was like, hey, can you come by?
Well, she had to say yes first.
Yes, because this is the day.
He knows the non-negotiables, and then he knows, like, you will always get a yes.
I appreciate that.
We go back.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. It's good to see you, and I see you guys working very hard. What's that, Frank? What are you telling me? Okay.
Starbucks off the table?
No. He was saying talking to the microphone.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
by the way, how come you don't put your wife on your show?
You know what?
You give Once Over all the love.
I know. I haven't yet. I'm sure we'll have her on our show one of these days. I think she's been part of.
Have you been asked?
I have not.
Let's stir the pot here.
Damn. Why are you gonna do that to me like that, huh?
Yeah. Why haven't you asked?
We're all about transparency and honesty.
I don't know. Fans, leave a comment if you want me to do a Mighty Cast with the wife.
I know you did RG3's show.
Yes.
His wife's on.
Yep.
So I thought maybe you would have seen that.
To be fair, that's they do
the show together.
They do,
right?
yeah.
They
But,
do a
pop
great
in,
job.
pop out.
Yep.
Would you like to be on? Let's mediate this right now.
I would love to.
Wow. Okay. Have you heard? This is good. We're getting right to it.
She's told me she's wanted to be on before.
How are you feeling about the microphone situation? Frank, is Destiny's mic on?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Because I hear DJ Perfect in my ear, her not so much. Okay, cool.
Okay,
DJ's having a problem with the microphone right now.
You know what we're gonna do? Well, I want to make sure I don't turn my back to my wife.
Sure, no, I appreciate that.
What I'm gonna do is, we're gonna do a Mighty Cast with the wife when I get home.
Yeah.
We're gonna plan it, and then we're just gonna vibe out, talk to her about, what is her viewpoint of me as an athlete, husband, father, going through the whole entire career.
Podcaster now.
YouTuber. I think she likes that more because I'm home more to be able to help out. But I did an interview with who was I talking to? Alex Volkanovski. He asked me a question, and I told him like my whole career, every single time she was pregnant, I was always leaving. Like she gave birth to Tyron, left to go fight. Gave birth to Maverick, left to go fight. Gave birth to Tanith, I came home from her fight, and then I had a blood clot. So to get her perspective of my career through her viewpoint, I think fans would enjoy that. I got to make sure the setup's right. I got to make it all sexy. But hopefully somebody else. It's always different. I feel that if I ask her, it could be a different answer. That if she came on your show by herself in a different atmosphere, you might get a different answer. I feel like. So I don't know, but
did he ever miss a birth?
I'm pretty transparent. No.
Okay.
He didn't miss a birth.
Okay.
No, but he did leave the hospital same day of delivery to go train.
To go train. I thought you were about to say to go fight.
No, but he had to leave, because we had wanted natural. I mean, we could talk about this forever, but we basically chose cesareans so that he could go, because he would, fights are like whenever you can take them, they choose the dates, and then it's like, well, shoot, okay, he's leaving 4 days after I deliver so that he can do time difference.
Yep. Wow.
So we just made
People
it work.
don't think of these things.
Yeah.
And now you guys are a duo because I saw you working hard to set up. It's like a real mom and pop shop. Despite your incredible
and it's
success.
hard freaking work.
Yes. It's just the three of you. You, Destiny, Michael here.
Yes. So Destiny handles all the logistics when it comes to anything. So when we did the Mighty Journey with Descendants, she got the hotel. She got the flights.
Wow.
All the snacks, water. She wanted to make sure he was absolutely comfortable. When I did the Mighty Cast in England, she picked up Airbnb, so she handles all the logistics. Even when
what a blessing!
It's an absolute blessing. And she was already amazing at that when I was fighting in my career, because when I would travel, she would like, why do they put you in that shitty ass hotel? Like, why do they do that? Fucking idiots. Like, they could have put you right here. You would have the movies. Here's a restaurant. You could eat healthy. None of that stuff. So at the tail end of my career, like, they was sending me like, oh, we're gonna have you stay here, and I'm like, my wife like, no. He's gonna stay here. Like, this is where everything's gonna be.
Because I know what he likes.
Yes.
And how can you? I mean, work is work, and sometimes the grind is still work. It's not always fun.
Of course.
So I know what he likes, and I'm like, well, if you're miserable hour and a half away from the arena, why wouldn't I make it to where you can have all your things? You're basically immersing life into work life when you're away from home. Why wouldn't we just make it to where you have everything that you like?
Yep.
You're happy. It's an easy transition.
And then there was a point in time where Matt goes, "Who picked this hotel?" And I was like, "Destiny." Goes, "Very good."
Nice.
And you know it's hard to get his approval. I've been working for almost 20 years.
So and then we got Michael here. But typically when we do the in-persons, it's either mostly to me and Michael. I've shot Mighty Cast by myself with Chase Hooper. And then when we did RG3 and we did Nikki Rod, that was me and Nick. And so this is her first time. Actually when we did the Texas with Nikki Rod and RG3, she booked that. She found it. And so she's part of the team.
I want to ask you, because you've been with him forever, since before he was Mighty Mouse, right?
Yeah.
You met when you were teenagers.
I was 19.
You were 19?
Yeah.
How old were you, DJ?
20, 19?
You
Okay.
just had turned 20.
Oh, yeah, I
we
just
met
turned
when
20.
you were 19.
Did you have any fights at that point? Amateur?
0.
Nothing?
You hadn't had your first amateur yet. I didn't go to your first amateur
She didn't
fight,
go to my
but
first
you
amateur.
hadn't had your amateur fight
Okay.
yet.
Yeah.
To see, so like one of the big, we've talked about this a little bit, but I'd love to hear your perspective because, I feel like he was one of the most underappreciated, disrespected champions, and like one of those classic stories of like, oh, people start to love you when you're gone.
Totally.
But now he is beloved because of the podcast, the YouTube, all that. So to see, it's a beautiful thing, because sometimes it happens when someone unfortunately passes, they get their flowers.
Totally.
I feel like you're getting your flowers now. And what's amazing about it is it's like, you're the same dude. Maybe you're opening up a little bit more, but it's like, man, why couldn't this have been tapped into when you were headlining Fox or pay-per-views? What is it like for you to now finally see your husband get the love, the respect, the admiration that he probably deserved many, many moons ago?
I love it. And I have to say, you were the first person that I remember years ago. You said, I feel like you're going to be one that's appreciated after your career, like once you've retired. You did say that a long time ago. I don't remember where we were, but I do remember you saying that. And
Thank you.
I think he is the same person, but he's not at the same time. And I think that like, I don't know why you're laughing. We worried about what I'm going to say?
No.
Okay, I'm curious.
No, I think that wisdom. Like I really think that it's beautiful to see him get his flowers, but he still doesn't take it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't absorb it. And I think what's for him, the drive is to not accept it all the way. Like even he got credit from Volk yesterday, and it was like he's still, even DC.
Yeah.
It's one of those things I think keeps him hungry. Doesn't want to ever go back to what he came from. I don't know, but it's beautiful. I love it. But
as you're watching him in his prime, one of the greatest champions of all time, and sort of not getting the love, not getting the push.
It was hard.
You want to be like, yo, this is my guy.
Gosh.
He's the freaking man. Show some respect.
Absolutely.
And now it's happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great, but our life doesn't change. That's the thing. It's like when we go home, we are such normal people that like some would say, why are you not like, if you're the man? It's like, yeah, but we're so normal. We're just different. Like, I think we have always been different. Mm. We've always been just a different couple. Like, we're just weird, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if that's weird. I think people respect that and appreciate that.
I would hope so, but we also don't know. I mean, I don't hear a lot of comments about it other than like,
I think the biggest one is when where we live, people are like, why do you live here? What are you doing here? Like the one I never forget is when I was working at the YMCA, they're like, why the fuck are you at the YMCA? And I was like, I have great machines, have a pool here, I can swim, and it's local. And they're like, you can live anywhere in the world, but you choose to live here. And I was like, yeah, is that a problem? They're like, I'm just dumbfounded to see that.
I got asked at Target, not to cut you off. I got asked at Target, what are you doing shopping at Target? Like, where am I supposed to shop? Sorry. Like, we're normal. Like, hello, we're normal people. What makes it, just because he has a really cool job, like, our kids are so proud. I want everyone to have him to look up to. He's a great human being.
Absolutely.
He really is. In his core, from the day I met him, he's a great human being. He's a really good athlete. He's a great father, a great husband. I mean, there's a lot of things. People need to be like him.
You're getting your flowers.
I was going to say the fucking best athlete.
I mean, there
Come on,
it is.
DJ.
There it is.
Are you going to the fight tomorrow?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to.
It's so crazy. Well, when am I going to see once in the front row? Oh, look who it is. You do the thing. Like, why can't we see that once?
I think we will when the time comes, but, I
Hall of Fame yesterday. How are you not in the Hall of Fame?
It will happen. It will happen
when it's meant to happen.
When it's meant to
happen.
happen.
It's crazy.
Right? Like I just, I like, like you said, I like just to live a normal life, separate myself from that, and obviously I'm gonna watch the fights. Like I'm gonna make content around it, and for me, being in the atmosphere and watching it, you have a lot of people talking and doing all that, and for me, I'm not ready to immerse myself in that space right now, right? Like I sitting at my house, watching the fights, analyzing, and then creating content around it.
So it's not so much that you're not being invited. You don't even want to go.
Yeah, I don't care to go.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
I've been to fights. I've been to fights so many times. I've been to the UFC fights. I've been to one championship fights. It's just, there's something to be said where it's like, I gotta take a piss. I get up, I go pee, sit back down, I jump over the couch. I'm sitting here relaxing, and when you're in there, it's a lot of noise. I mean, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but after you go to an event like that, there's almost like a huge crash of just so much. What's the one I'm looking for?
Adrenaline?
Like an adrenaline
Not
dump.
adrenaline dump, but the stimulation is just so much where I just don't want to be around it right now, I guess.
Is your husband the greatest fighter of all time?
I believe he is. I believe he is in and outside. Like, I think
this is a very good point that you bring up. I appreciate you bringing this up. I appreciate this is good. You need to have her.
Go ahead, baby.
Because,
you could say I'm biased, but I also am 100%.
No, but you brought up
I'm
a good
raising
point.
children,
In and out.
and to me, that's how I view it.
Start cooking.
Life is different when you raise children, and you're. To me, of course, he is.
Yes. So I said earlier this week, enough of this Jon Jones is the GOAT stuff.
Yeah.
Enough of it. Because if you have PED infractions, you're out of the conversation.
Yeah.
If you don't do what needs to be done, which is time-honored tradition, you got to defend the belt against the top guy. You can't be the guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that pissed a lot of people off.
See,
agree or disagree?
Yeah. So I agree with you. And here's the thing. Like my whole entire career, I've always defended I've always defended Jon Jones. And I'm going to say this, like, I truly believe he's one of the best to ever do it. I truly believe that. I've worked out in the same room as him. I've seen his eyes. I see how he moves. But then when I sit there and I've always wanted to do this on my channel, is basically dissect a person's career. Go to the very first time they got into the UFC and just go through the whole entire thing. And when you go through it, it's like Michael Wanzer, I love him to death. He is so honest and unbiased. And he was like, dude, like, how are you going to say Jon Jones is one of the greatest of all time when he's fucking failed a drug test?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Like, listen to yourself right now. Like, you're lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Like, he's like, you actually look stupid. Like, you and GSP and Habib have never failed a drug test.
Yes.
Not fucking once.
Yes.
And you're sticking up for somebody who's clearly failed a drug test, right? Now, if you go, I know Shaquille O'Neal said, he's one of the greatest. Shaq, let me sit you down. Let me run you through the whole entire career of all that stuff, right? And, when you sit there and you peel back the onion and you start looking at that, it's like, I always...
You didn't believe in that. That's not what you were about.
Yeah,
I didn't believe it. So how can someone who did that multiple times...
It's like approval. It's almost like if you're putting him in the same category as
then
you,
you're okay with it.
You're approving and you're condoning what he did.
Yeah, and I guess, we can have, two mountains. You have a mountain of just clean motherfuckers out there. Me, GSP, and Habib. You can have one of the fractions of guys like, fuck, I failed the drug test, And it's just, it is what it is, right? I mean... Like, I think, and I ask my community, I always like to go with the community says, right? I never forget when I was in esports and I was working on the game and I was like, this game is esports worthy. And they go, no, it's not. Like, you don't get to dictate that. The community dictates if it's esports ready. And so I did a poll and I was like, guys, like, just be honest with me. Like, you can ask all the fighters in the world and even all the celebrities, whoever you want to ask, like, if somebody has a failed drug test, do they qualify to be on GOAT Mountain? Can they be in that conversation? Now, people might say, hey, you're hating on him. I was like, no, I'm speaking facts right now. These are legit facts. I've never failed a drug test. Habib has never failed a drug test. GSP's never failed a drug test. Why haven't we failed drug tests, right? You look at the long reign we've done. We've never been stripped. We've never, and then you look at somebody who has been stripped. I never forget, I saw the video. Somebody says, Jon Jones is one of the greatest of all time. And, picograms and all that stuff. And I remember Dana White sitting there and he goes, hey, DC, he failed. And I remember DC going,
yeah. UFC 200.
Right? And it's like people just, Americans and people who watch the sport have a very short-term memory. They truly fucking do. But if you go back and you peel back the onion, you look through the whole entire career. I'm not saying Jon Jones didn't do great things. He was an amazing athlete, right? But when you start talking about the greatest of all time, you look at Muhammad Ali. I don't think he's ever failed a drug test. You look at Floyd Mayweather. He's never failed a drug test. you know, you look at what's the gentleman's name? He just beat Tyson Fury. Usyk. He's never failed a drug test. When you start looking at the greatest Usain Bolt, he's never failed a drug test. You know, you look at across the board. Name one athlete that's considered the greatest of all time in a sport that's failed a drug test.
Yeah.
Never.
You get disqualified. And then when you when you remove that, you always fought the top guy.
Yeah.
Even if it meant fighting him multiple times when it didn't make sense.
Yes.
There's Joe. Okay, this is who you want me to fight? Yeah. This whole thing about he doesn't excite me, this and that. Now, if he was just non-champion, John, hey, you want to have some fun fights, great. But when you hold that belt, there's a responsibility.
Yeah, and I think, and you know, people can always say there could be an asterisk on my
Who says that?
Well, I'm just saying if people want to play that devil's advocate.
Who did you not fight?
Well, I would say TJ Dillashaw.
What?
Right. Well, I'm just playing devil's advocate, right? I've always been open about this, and even
he wasn't the top guy.
He wasn't a top guy, right? And obviously, there was a whole things that we go over it. Yes. But I did not fight him because the demands weren't being met. And then John asked for 30, I asked for 1 million, right? You look at the fucking difference. I'm all like, let me get $1 million. John's like, pay me 30 million, I'll fight that motherfucker. He goes, here's 30 million. He goes, you know what? I'm not excited anymore, right? So that's one thing you could say about my career if you want to say it. But obviously, if TJ was in the 125 pound division, worked his way up and fought, it's almost like I had a.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, but I had Volkanovski on, and me and Volk were talking about Movsar. Guy's 19-0. 19 fight win streak. Can't even get. He's like ranked number 4. What was he ranked 4 or 5?
Yeah,
and I was like, who dictates these fucking rankings?
Yeah.
Like. So, but yeah, I mean, Jon Jones, him fighting Tom Aspinall, my personal opinion, I wanted to see it. I say it all the time. I don't think Stipe versus Jon Jones should never happen. I love Stipe. I think he's a great athlete. But, the fact that people get title shots off losses for somebody who's never fought for 4 years, and what he was doing in those 4 years, being a firefighter, way more important than coming back fighting Jon Jones and trying to become a world champion. But you had a healthy interim champion, Tom Aspinall, and you had a healthy champion, Jon Jones. Why did that fight not happen? Now, if they go up like, oh, well, we wanted to make more money, sell this. Okay, they say that. It's not a sport, right? The more I follow the sport and I cover UFC, I'm like, this is not a fucking sport. It's truly not. It's a reality TV show. Everybody just fighting, Yeah, I mean, we can go on all day about this whole thing, but I think it should have been Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. And the fact that Jon retired, 38, he don't leave the house unless he's making $100,000, and it doesn't excite him. That's perfectly fine. I just wish he would have retired after he fought Stipe because it's always going to have. And then now that he's gone, everybody's looking at his career. We're all coming out saying you can't be the GOAT. And I think a lot of athletes, like let's ask GSP. Like GSP, let me ask you a question. Do you think Jon Jones is the greatest of all time, even though he's failed a drug test? He might, I don't know. Let's ask Habib. Like, hey, dog, you're a clean athlete. All your athletes are, let's talk, let's stand on fucking base. Like, do you think, ask Jon Jones, like, John, you failed the drug test, right? Even though it's a picogram, do you consider yourself the greatest of all time? Even though you failed the drug test, like, tell me your honest opinion. Like, be a man. Like, that's how I view it. Like, I try not to be biased, and even though I have defended him for so long, and then people are like, you're fucking stupid. Yeah. It is what it is.
I appreciate the perspective. Can I ask your perspective? Today we had the weigh-ins, and, I think we get like 10% of what really happens behind the scenes, how scary it can get, how uncomfortable it could get, how close everyone is to like freaking
death,
falling over.
Would you partake? Would you be there as he's cutting weight? Would you, or do you not want to see it? Like, what was your role in his weight cutting process on the Thursday night, Friday morning?
That's a great question, actually, because I wasn't really involved with his career in that part as far as fight week. I was my position, not by his choice, but by coach. Coach was, I was nowhere to be. I was not allowed.
Oh, really? Not allowed?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I was not allowed.
You couldn't see him?
No, it was like a...
What?
We separate.
Who's this? Matt Hume said this?
Yeah. It was very much...
And you adhered to this?
I did not.
You're the boss. Oh, you did not. So what did you do?
I did not. I wanted to be a part of it, but I was put in my place to not be a part of it. Wow. Just to keep him focused. We just had a chat about this, actually, of like, if I could go back in time, I wish I would have had the foundation I have now to be like, I'm going to be there.
Sure.
I wish I absolutely wanted to be there. nobody else supported him the way I supported him. You know, I wish we could go back, and we did. We talked about this just recently at this. Like, I wish we could have gone back, and I was part of it. Like, I wish. I mean, obviously, I was there every fight week, but I was very much like, nope, separate rooms, separate.
So, you're not allowed. When's the last time you saw him? Like, would you see him like he went to the airport, and then you'd only see him after the fight?
And then most of the time, early on, I wouldn't see him even. I don't even think
after weigh-ins.
It would be after weigh-ins. I wouldn't even.
But at least before the fight, you would see him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But and you guys, correct me if I'm wrong. You never did the thing where like you get off the bus and you're walking together into the.
Never.
You never did that thing.
One championship, not even.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the reason.
I'm curious how you felt about this.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously like she said, we talked about like we could have connected more in our marriage and relationship as best friends, husband and wife through that career, because it is a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster of a ride of, emotions up and down. But for me, and this is why I think it made me one of the best to ever do it, is that I separated it.
Absolutely.
Like it was my job. Yep. Like, and you asked like, what was my weight cutting procedure? At the beginning of my career, I would always ask Matt, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why is this working? Why are we doing this? Then it came a point in time where I'll just cut weight by myself. I'll wake up, text him, hey, I'm like 5 over. I'll jump in the tub, and he goes, oh, let me come. I was like, dog, sleep in. I fucking got this. I'm 37 years old.
Yeah.
I've done this time and time again. I'll text him, hey, I'm on weight. I'm chilling in the room, ready to go. And then like my whole goal when I was an athlete, and even to this day, is like, I want to be the easiest. When Matt's on his deathbed, beep, they're like, tell Matt, before you're the last word, tell me about, Demetrious Johnson as an athlete. I want to say he was probably the easiest athlete I ever worked with. Like when it came to cut weight, when it came to nutrition, when it came to doing X, Y, and Z, he was the easiest. And so I took it upon myself. Like, I think when I first started cutting weight by myself was probably, not by myself, I mean.
Yeah, when you say by yourself, what do you mean? There's other people with you, right?
No, I just jump in the tub by myself and just cook and then get out.
But is that safe?
I mean,
because what if you get lightheaded, you fall? No.
It is.
He's a pro?
So don't get me wrong. It isn't safe, but I feel I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but what if you get lightheaded?
I mean, you fucking fall down.
Henan Barrow, remember he hit his head on the thing, and
Who
then
did?
Henan Barrow.
Remember
TJ Dillashaw was supposed to fight him?
Let me ask you a question. How did he waterload for 2 weeks? Did he diet correctly? Did he do everything correctly?
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah. I did everything correctly. I prepared.
Prepared.
It's like, hey, when I think the most weight I cut in a day was 8.5 pounds. When I was trying to fight Joseph Benavidez at UFC 152 in Toronto.
Yep.
And I looked like black ass Skeletor.
It was horrible.
So Matt was watching me then, right? At the beginning of my career, yes, I had supervision, but it came a point in time in my career where it was like, guys, I don't need you to watch me. I know what I'm doing. Like I would show up and Matt would come in. He goes, you want to wait? I'm like, yeah. And I take a picture, show him. He's like, all right, good. All right, I'll come get you in.
He wasn't even in the room? Wow.
Because I told him, I was like, there's no point. I was like, and then there was sometimes like, at some point in time, I'm like, hey, you want company? I was like, sure, come. If you want, just chill and I'll cut weight.
So let me ask you this. If he wasn't there, why couldn't you be there?
I think, like, to be fair, and I don't regret anything of the way that it was done. Like, I don't look back and have, like, animosity towards it at all. I think there's a reason he held the title as long as he did.
Yep.
Why fix it if it ain't broke? It's there's just the time of like, I would have loved to see behind the scenes. I'm as a fight fan anyways. It's like, it's cool to see it.
And actually she would see me. So after I would cut weight, we would make weight. This is back in my day. You would wait till 4:00 p.m. Weigh in. And then after that, I would go eat. And we'll be together. Yeah. And after we'd eat, we'll go do another workout that night. And then she'll be able to see me work out, because when I train, she would never be part of my training. And she was like, this is the only time I actually get to see you, like, your job, right?
The night before the fight.
The night before the fight. And then I'll start moving. And she goes, all right, he's fucking ready. And then my favorite thing she says, she goes, this is probably the most manly shit you ever do.
Seriously. At the time?
At the time.
Because it brings out a different,
And then when I would fight, then after that, then we'll be together. And then, but like I said, when I came to fight, it wasn't a family affair. No. It was fucking big. I came here to make money. I didn't come here to like, and I told her that. And she was amazing, supportive. Like if I needed something, like, hey, I need more water, I'm on it. Like the logistics, I got you. What do you need? I need a scale. This scale's fucking off. Give me a new scale. She'll go somewhere and get a scale. Like so, she served her role. I served my role, which was a provider. I show up and I'm gonna compete. After that, we go home and do our thing.
Favorite DJ fight? What's your favorite?
Oh my gosh.
I would say probably the second Adriano fight.
I was gonna say.
You're saying that on her behalf. You think that's what?
We've talked kind of about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of what happened in the first one.
That and it. Go ahead, speak, baby. This is your question,
you're
not
good.
me. No, go ahead, babe. No, go ahead, babe.
Everything that encompasses, I think, that fight was the time. It was the location. It was. I think everything was kind of I knew, even on his last fight, I knew before, like right when he signed that dotted line, I was like, this is his last fight. Because you can just watch the spark of like, do you have the spark? Is it still there? You know, but the second one was just badass. I loved it.
It was incredible.
I loved it.
By the way, did you do the thing where you had the coffee and you told it? Remember you said that Eddie Alvarez told you when you were going to retire?
God, it was, it was kind of interesting how she knew that I was going to retire before I knew I was going to retire, because she's the only person who could read me and understand where I'm coming from, because I don't really speak much, I guess you could say, at that time in my career. And she was like, this is it. This is the last one. I could tell.
And
I was like, nah, it's not. I'm gonna, I'm gonna keep on going. And then I'll never forget, like, she knew. And so but once we got done, I never forget, I was walking in the back of the room with my kids, and I was going to the press conference, and then I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I might be done, but I don't want to be one of those guys who I'm going to retire, then I'm going to come back because I miss it. And that's why I said, I'm going to give myself a year off, just, stay active, still work and train, and then start working on the YouTube side and start building my brand outside of fighting. And then, but she knew, but then I don't,
you were like a month in to that third fight with Adriano training camp.
Yeah.
And you like got the nerve or the courage to like bring it up, and you're like, I think I might be done. Yeah. And I'm like, I knew.
I already knew.
I told I already knew. I told my best friend at the time, I had told her, I think this might be it.
Wow.
But I didn't tell him, and then a few weeks after he started training for the camp, he's like, I don't know what it is, but I think I might be done. And I'm like, I had a feeling. But then after that, you didn't retire right away, right? Like we practiced retirement life for a year and a half just to see.
Power washing and things like that.
Oh, he's been doing that.
I was literally sending you a picture. I just pressure wash all the concrete on the right side. And I just feel like sometimes as an athlete, and it could be my perception, but for me, I love to just normalize things, right? Like, when we're doing like the Mighty Cast, like I feel it's important for me to set everything up. I just want to know what's going on, or
you take pride in that.
I take pride in that, and also like just I've always lived a normal life. I was always hands-on in my children's life. I never, you guys are trying to send me a card to pick me up, which I appreciate. But I was like, no. I'll get an Uber. I'll get there. Don't worry about it. I'll be on time. So but yeah, man, it was a great ride. I loved every bit of it. And I think, what made me so emotional about retiring was that I fucking love fighting. I love it. I love it. And to finally say, like, I can still fight if I wanted to. I know I can. But there's just, like she said, there's just not that spark. What am I fighting for? Am I fighting for a paycheck? That's not what got me into fighting to begin with. And so I just, it was. That's why I was so emotional. I was like, I'm the Wolf's retiring. The Dragon's leaving the battlefield.
Well, and we came home from that, not to cut you off, but we came home after that third fight.
Yep.
And you had a long conversation with someone very important that I won't name, but very important.
Who the fuck was that?
I'm going to go on and then you'll know. Okay. And he gave you said, this is what you're thinking.
Yep.
And then he gave you his input, and he says, you can always make money. You can always make money.
Yeah.
And someone in the sport retired, lived a beautiful career, and it was just like you always had admired him.
Yep.
And you said, I wanna call him when I get home.
Yep.
And you called him.
I'm wondering who this is now.
Yeah, GSP.
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure.
And it was a long, beautiful conversation of just like all these questions going back and forth of just life and.
Yeah, because I think, like I said,
what a guy to ask. Also.
Yeah, I know, because I truly felt.
Who else? I
truly felt he could have still. I mean, look, he looks better than half the fucking roster. And he's like, what, 43, 44, 45? I don't know how old GSP is, but he still lives a healthy lifestyle. He still trains. And, and I wanted to ask him because I felt he left when he could have still did a lot more. And why not ask them? And I feel like in the sport of mixed martial arts, people like they retire from the sport when they're like, you know, they're either on a losing streak and they're getting beat up, or I feel if you look at the span of everybody's career in mixed martial arts, that's when they retire, is when they're all beat up. And so, you know, I went home and I called him, and I'm grateful he had that conversation with me, and it kind of helped, you know, not ease the blow, but kind of like made me feel that was it helped me navigate that decision I had in my mind.
And then the scan you had on your brain.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, dude, we got 10 plus years of your brain, and your brain's smarter now, and your brain is beautiful.
Yeah, he goes, you look good, man. I was like, fuck this, I'm out, man.
Yeah, that was like the last straw for you. You're like, okay, that's it.
Yep,
that is it.
You guys are a beautiful couple. This has been wonderful, really. I told you I'd take you to 12. It's 12:03.
You're fine.
We're doing something. So we got this custom poker table with my name on it. You see it? The show's name on it?
I see it now, yeah.
And we asked everyone who stopped by yesterday and today to sign it, and we are going to auction it off.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to give all the money to Ben Askren's family.
Nice.
So if you don't mind... you know, he's going through a tough time.
And
I think we've got, you see that guy over there? What did you just say? Oh my God, you're crazy.
We're trying to get Buck versus Cuck. It's going to feed families, baby. But unfortunately, you know, Joaquin Buckley got out-wrestled.
How could you say that? How could you say that?
It's fine.
I'm going to tell
People
him
are
right
too
now.
sensitive in this fucking
Destiny, this guy.
I didn't hear what he said.
He's got a potty mouth. It's unbelievable.
Horrible. Hey, you know, our children,
right over here,
our children are trying to start like a potty talk dollar bin. So like a jar. So every time
probably
he says
the biggest contributor.
That's
your signature, DJ? It's one of the all-time worst signatures. What's wrong with that? Can I get a mouse? Can I get something?
At least you can fight, baby.
I'm kidding.
At least you can fight.
I'm kidding. Look at Stylebender gave me like a whole like motivational speech in there. Oh, you're actually. What do you want me to say? What are you doing? Wow, you're actually making it? I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's the face. Oh, you have it in you.
It's Dragon Ball Z.
Yo, see? Look at that. This is amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. This was great.
Yeah, we love you. We always
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. Enjoy your time off. Away from the kids. DJ, you're the man.
Thanks, brother.
Much love. Congrats. And we could bring in the big dog here. We could bring him in. Yeah, let's bring in the man himself. Thank you so much, DJ.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
I love you guys. Thank you so much. That was great. And now we bring in the man himself. Look at this. From a future legend to a former legend. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.